tubers, welcome to my channel. Let's get this journey started. Hello everybody, welcome to the episode on the YouTube channel. Right now I am on a, what year is your car again?
2014
Subaru. Alright, you're gonna do the front brake pads. So my client went to the dealership, and how much are they charging you?
$325 plus tax.
$325 plus tax. Right now he's the one filming me right now. $325. I told him, hey, I know how to do brake pads. So what he did, he went to the store, bought himself brake pads, front brake pads. How much did you pay for the front brake pads?
$56.
$56. Plus what I'm going to charge for labor, he's going to save himself at least $200 and almost $25 he's going to be saving. So one of the first things you want to do is, which I'm not going to show step by step how to do it, but you have your tire in here. You first want to get your socket to loosen up your 5 lug nuts. Just loosen them up a little bit, get them loose. Then you're going to go ahead, I don't have my car jack here, but you're going to go ahead and grab the vehicle's car jack. And if you come down here, you have your point right here where you're going to hold, where you're going to put this car jack bracket in here and raise your car. Normally, I do not recommend for you to work on a car with this car jack like this. It's not really safe. What you want to do is you want to have a floor jack. All right. Now, there's 2 ways you can use this right here. Sometimes you can put it right down here. I see the frame is right here, but this frame is a little bit wide, so I really want to make sure that I'm having extra support. And since I am working in the system right here, this your metal frame also here, so I'm going to put it right here. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and start lowering the car a little bit until the framing is sitting on the actual floor jack, because you want to make sure that you are feeling safe when you're doing that. All right, and once it's sitting there, you want to make sure that it's there. You can't move it, and then you can go ahead and loosen the car's floor jack. You don't have to take it out or anything like that. But I have it loose right now, which is fine. Which, as a matter of fact, I'm just gonna leave it just there, taut in there, so that way I can have double support in case I need anything. All right. So once you have this lifted up, you go ahead and loosen up your lug nuts. Take out your tire. You can set it to the side. And then the next thing I'm going to do now is make sure also, I forgot to mention, that you have your emergency brake on also. And if you're up on a little bit of hill, make sure you put some type of a brick or block in the back, so that way, in case the car does slip, it has nowhere to go. Once you come up here, then you're going to go to your brake fluid reservoir. If you don't know what it looks like, normally on all the vehicles, it's on your steering wheel. You have your black round thing right here. This is called your brake booster. Immediately after brake booster should be your power fluid. And I don't have a rag on me right now, but you just want to kind of like get some gloves if you don't want to get your hands dirty. Just kind of like wipe it down and stuff like that, because you want to make sure that it's not dust going in there. And you have to just loosen it up, all right, and put the cap like that to the side. And the reason why I'm doing that is when I take out my brake caliper, there's 2 ways you can actually push the piston back, which I'm going to show you that once I loosen this up, is by using this, when you take this out, the caliper, there's a mechanism that you use to push back the piston, and the fluid's coming back, and the fluid's got to go somewhere. So if you have that capped in there, you have a chance of possibly rupturing the line because it's too much back pressure you're going to put in there. So you have to have some type of air so it can go. Or if you don't want to do it that way, the other way, which I really don't like doing, is you come down here, you have your little plastic, your little rubber piece here. You take this out right here, and in here it is your brake bleeder, and you can buy a brake bleeder at a store, or you can make one yourself. All you gotta do is go like maybe a hardware store, Home Depot, buy yourself a plastic tube, take this rubber piece off, put it in here, and then you make a drill on a regular water bottle, and you can have it in there, and then you can actually crack this brake bleeder about 1/4 of a turn, and then when you compress him back, your brake fluid will come out. And I don't really like doing that type of method because you have a possibility of introducing air into the system, and you don't want to do that. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take out my caliper. You want to make sure also you have a hanger ready to go, so when I take my caliper off, I got somewhere to hang it up here on the on your strut, because you don't want this rubber line to be dangling and roaching the line, and then you're going to have more of a serious issue. Okay, so for this case, it's going to be a 14 millimeter, and there's going to be 2 brackets, 2 bolts holding your caliper. So you put it in there, start loosening this up. on some vehicles, sometimes you have to get your forge wrench and has to go in here in order for you to turn this, but in this case, this one you don't have to do it. Right. So you want to take this and put it somewhere where you're not going to forget where it's at. So I'm going to put it in the box where the brake fluids are at, where the brake pads are at, excuse me. And then the next one's down here. Alright, so that's loose right there. Now I'm going to need here it goes, right here. This part right here is what I was talking about right here. Push this all the way to the back. I'm going to take out my caliper now. I'm going to slide it out. Alright? When you slide it out, what you want to do now is, for right now, while I get myself together, I'm going to go ahead and grab it and put it into the slot that's allowed in there and lift this up and put it up here like this so this could be hanging, okay? Remember, you don't want to let this go because you're pulling tension on your brake line, and if this ruptures, you're going to have to sit there and buy a new one, and it's going to cause you more work, and then you got to bleed this this line in order for you to do that. So you don't want to get to that. So now what you're going to do now is you're going to go ahead and slide your brake pad I wouldn't recommend you to grab any type of flathead screwdriver like that, because this is your rotor. This rotor, just by doing a visual inspection, is still good. This is the first time the customer is changing the brake pad. So normally the thumb rule is 3 to 4 brake pad changes. You can change your rotor, or you can grab a dial indicator to see if you have to turn them over or not. And right now I'm looking at this brake pad, and this brake pad is severely worn. So yes, the dealership was correct that he needed to replace it. Now if this brake pad went a little bit lower down, I would probably say within maybe less than a month, this brake indicator right here, this metal piece, will start rubbing on your on the caliper, and it's going to start scoring it. So once it starts scoring it, then you have to change the, your rotor. But this brake pads definitely have to get changed out. So you're going to put it to the side right now, and then the other one, you're going to go ahead and take it out. All right, when you take it out, what you want to do now is you want to grab it and put it right here. You know, match it up again in there. All right, and you want to make sure that your reservoir for your brake is it's open. All right, because then now I'm going to grab this here, and I'm going to slide this in here, and then I'm going to start pushing it down, so you can start pushing your piston back down. And if you don't have one of these, you can grab a C-clamp and start pushing it down. So right now I have to push it down at the same time. This one right here is a little bit difficult because it's a double piston. So you're just going to have to come in here and just kind of like turn it down a little bit, you know, at the same time, little by little. Grab them together. This is going down, loosen it up. Go back to this side. And the objective is to push down your piston all the way inside, so when you put the new brake pads in, they're going no problem at all. And it's much easier when you have this contraption hanging it up right now, because you don't have to sit there and try to hold it and push it down. You can just, you know, push it down yourself. Same thing, just little by little. Take turns, you know, one side to the other. Try to make them evenly, and then go back to the other side. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little thumb rule here. If you're trying this and you're having a very difficult time to push your piston back in, or even if you use a C-clamp and it's still not going down, most likely your piston is worn and you're going to have to change your calipers. You shouldn't have to force them at all to go down, and if you do, you're definitely going to have to change your calipers. And remember, safety's first. This is your braking system in your car, and you definitely need to have good working calipers for your car to stop. How far am I going down? This piston should go pretty much seat flat with the rest of the rubber piece here. That's how far I'm going to take it down, because remember, your new brake pads are going to have real nice, big, thick, juicy pads. And they do sell the ones for the doubles, but I don't have it because I usually don't see the double ones that much. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way down. And As you can see, it's already flushed there. So at that point, I'm stopping in that one and double check with this one. All right, and it's already in there, and that's it. All right, and then just take it back out. So now your pistons are all the way down in your caliper. If you want to at this point, you can go ahead and try to clean it up if you want to inside, whatever. But I mean, this rust is normal, just the way it is, normal wear and tear. All right, then you're gonna put that to the side. Now, what I'm gonna do next now is I'm gonna grab my new brake pads, and these are for your front. So what you want to do before you start doing anything else, you want to make sure that these match. And from what I'm looking at, it does look like a match. All right. So my next thing I'm going to do now is the client was very smart to buy the hardware. Sometimes when you hear squealing or screeching, it's because you're definitely going to have to put some of the squealing lubricant in the back, and also sometimes this make it squeak too. So he's replacing the hardware, which is very smart. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the hardware first. All right. So I'm looking at them, they all look the same to me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in here and see exactly how it's in, and then I'm going to push this out. Alright, and it's already out. So the same way I took it out, I want to make sure that the new one's going in. The only difference I see is that the Subaru manufacturer came with this little flapper, but these don't have it, but it shouldn't really make a big difference as long as it goes in there. Remember, every manufacturer makes things differently, but actually, I'm looking at it, and here it is right here, actually. So I take that back. So here it is. All right, same match, okay? So then I'm going to go ahead and kind of like, you know, just take out the dust that's in there. Be sure it's clean. If you want to go the extra mile, you can grab yourself like a rotor cleaner and just spray it around if you want to have it clean, but it's not really necessary. All right, long as it's kind of clean, then you're going to go ahead and push this back inside. All right, and make sure you push it in. When you push it in, make sure it's sitting on both appropriately, which it is. All right, then I'm going to go with my top one. All right, it's already out. I'm going to see exactly the way it was taken out. And I'm going to flip this around. It does match, same thing. All right, only difference I see in this one is this part right here is a little bit shorter. But like I said, everybody makes a little bit different. As long as it's the same part, it's going to fit in there, same thing. You're going to just put your hand in there, kind of make it clean. All right, then you're going to put that in there. And remember, every time you do a brake job, you want to make sure any accessories that come with it, just go ahead and save yourself the time and just go ahead and do it. A couple bucks not going to really hurt you, especially when you when you saving some money. All right, now that that's in there, now you're going to go ahead and grab your new brake pads. All right. Your brake pads kind of like dummy proof. All right. If I don't remember how it goes, you can just start trying to see how it goes in here. And I'm looking at it, let me see here. So I will say by the shape of the rotor, the fattest part is going to go in like this, all right? All right, now the brake pad is in, okay? You want to make sure, no, that's in there. You want to make sure that your brake pad is actually inside the brackets, okay? And this right here is like a spring compression that it has in there. It's in there and it's stopping in there. So you want to make sure it's flat. You want to make sure it's flat to your rotor. Do not install it where this is popping out or it's like that. No, you got to make sure that it's actually flat in there, okay? It shouldn't move at all, okay? Now I'm going to grab the other one and the same thing too. I'm going to go ahead and put it in, and the same thing. This part that's curved is going to go on the inside, right? And I'm going to go in here and put it in there. That's going to match in the bracket. All right, now you want to make sure that you're looking in here. I'll let the camera guy look. Make sure your brake pads are touching your rotor. Do not put in calipers back in there and the brake pad's not flushing. If it's not flushing, you want to take it back out and look at your accessory that goes in there to hold your brake pad appropriately in there, okay? All right, the next step, what you're going to do is What is recommended is to put some ceramic brake lubricant, and what you're going to do is you're going to put it where your caliper sits at your piston. You want to put a thin coat on here and here on both sides, and then the reason is it can stop squealing. So when the piston is coming out and forcing the brake pad, it's not rubbing that metal to metal and it's causing it to squeal and squeak. That's sometimes the reasons why you have your brakes squealing, okay? So you don't have to put a lot, it's just got to be a thin coat. You can try to eyeball it how you want to. Just grab some in there and put some in there like that. You want to go like that, whatever the case may be, whatever you feel like, but you don't have to put too much. It's got to be a thin coat. Thin coat, and you want to put on both sides. Same thing on the other side. You're not going to be able to see that, but you know, just put it in there. All right. And then you can put that to the side. Now you're ready to go ahead and put your caliper back in there. Remember, your piston's already extracted all the way inside the casing, so now you want to go ahead and grab your caliper. Alright, remember, be careful when you handle this caliper. You don't want to force anything like that because you don't want that brake line to come apart. So now what you want to do is you want to see if it's going to slide in there. If it does not slide in easily, that means you have to still push your piston further down, okay? Do not force it or jam it in there, alright? Just want to make sure it goes nice and smooth. Right here, you're going to have to push this in right here. Alright? Then you're going to grab your bolts again. On some vehicles, for example, Volvo, some Acuras, what I've seen, if you want to, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but there is a type of, I think it's called, oh man, I can't remember, but it's like for automotive bolts. It's like a blue type of thing, like kind of like crazy glue, but not quite crazy glue, that you put on the bolts, so when you tighten it up, Loctite, if I remember it correctly, a blue Loctite for bolts. You push them in here so it can, you know, lock it in there, so it will move. But this one doesn't have it, so it's not really stressor. But you go ahead and put your first bolt in. Make sure it's aligning correctly. All right, try to get it in there. Start it up. The one on the bottom. Then you're gonna grab your wrench and start tightening it down. And remember, in all my other videos, whenever you tighten something down, normally it's always in manufacturer's torque specification. A lot of us don't have those type of, torque specification. But like I said before, the thumb rule is when you have it snug in there, you want to just give it that quarter of a turn of your strength, a quarter of a turn, and that's it. There's no need for you to slug it because you have a chance of busting that bolt open or getting it stuck and jammed in there, okay? Alright, so now I'm looking at it right now. I have a little bit, it's snug there. Then I'm going to go in the bottom, make sure it's snug too. Alright, it's snug there too. So now I'm going to come back on top, and then now I'm going to double check, and it's the snug there. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it a quarter of a turn, right about there. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. Alright, and I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure. Just a little bit there. Remember, you don't want to slug it or do it too tight. Alright, so that's in there. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and lift this back up, take the jack out, put the tire back in, and I'm going to go ahead and hand tighten them up, and then grab my my socket and make sure that's with my wrench, and make sure it's nice and tight. Put the tire down. Then I'm going to do the other side, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you once you tighten this stuff up. You want to tighten your lug nuts with the specification torque, which at this point I don't know right now, but I am going to check on the owner's manual to see what the torque specification is, and then I'm going to show you when to cap that back off, what you have to do inside your car to get the brakes to compress back in there. Alright, so I'll be back. Alright guys, real quick before I go to the other side, I wanted two things I want to point out. When you are putting back your lug nuts in the owner's manual, 89 foot-pounds, what you want to do is before you bring the car down,
for this particular car,
you want to hand tighten it down, and then you're gonna grab your wrench and just, you know, tighten it up more, because your wrench is going to be give it a more of a tighter finish than your actual hand, right? So when you finish, then you put the car down, and then you grab your torque wrench, 89 foot-pounds, and you're gonna go a star pattern. This one's got 5 lug nuts, so it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna do the 5th one just to show you what you're supposed to hear. Every time you start tightening it down, you're gonna hear a clicking noise. That clicking noise is telling you that you have reached 89 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna just do this one just to show you. It's already been done already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I already explained this before in my past videos. Things can happen. You do it by hand. Everybody has different strength. I can sit there and do it myself with the one that comes in your car, right? And if I don't put it tight enough, I go on the highway, this could get loose and fall out, and you're gonna have an accident. Or if I am super big and strong, I can tighten it real tight where I can crack the nut, or I can actually warp the rotor so I put it too tight. The other thing too I want to show to you guys. When we compressed your brake fluid earlier, right? Your fluid came back up because it had to go somewhere, right? And you can see it's a little bit high. I am a little bit concerned when we do the other side, when I start compressing the piston back into your caliper, that this might overflow. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. Normally, if you have like a turkey baster, something to suck it, just go in there and squeeze it and put it in a cup and put it to the side, because once you apply the brakes again, once you put the brake pads, put the brakes back touching the rotors, this goes probably going to back down. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. You want to make sure that it's not going to go overfill. And if it does, you want to make sure you clean it up right away, okay? So that's one thing I want to point out. I forgot to bring my turkey baster, that you can just squeeze it out. It's too much to make sure you have the appropriate level. All right, so we're done changing the other side of the brake pads. One of the things, if I didn't mention it, I'm going to stress it again. When you are putting back your wheel and your lug nuts, do not put any type of grease in your threads. I don't know why some people think you can do that. You don't do that, because when you torque it and you put grease in there, it's going to loosen up, okay? The thing I was talking about earlier, so when we did the other side, some of the brake fluid came out a little bit, and we had something to be able to take some of the bit out. But just keep in mind, when you do the one side first and it starts coming up, just grab yourself that little turkey baster and take it out. And right now it's still full, but what we're going to do now is we're going to close it up right now. All right, and now what we're going to do now is we're going to come inside your vehicle, and keep in mind that when we decompress the piston all the way inside, now we're gonna slowly 3 times, we're gonna pump the brake pedal slowly 3 times to get the caliper to close up and flush tightly with the rotor. Alright, so you're gonna come over here. Again, slowly, no need to do none of this stuff, just slowly. Just grab it in there, and just go slowly. 1, it's going all the way down. It's going all the way down to the floor. That's 1, let it go, and then 2. It just touched it's not all the way down no more, because it already, the piston came out and it's got the brake pads locked down. Let it go, and just want to do it one more time, and it's fine. And then now you're going to come in here again and check your brake fluid. So you can see some of it went down, and it's a little bit up here, which is technically at your max level, and that's it. So now what we gotta do is clean up and let the owner drive the car around the block, and that's it. And that's easy brake pads, and he saved himself about $225. He's doing it himself, learning how to do stuff yourself. You like the video, like it, and if you want to know some more stuff, I got some more videos coming. Just follow my page, because eventually I'm going to have also, besides automobile mechanics, I'm going to have interior and how to build certain stuff. So definitely my page is very educational, and I'm always about showing you how to save money. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you like my content, subscribe below and follow me in my journey as I show you how to do car maintenance and home repairs.